Okay, so yesterday we talked a little bit, or last lesson, we talked about solving radicals, and we said isolate radical first. Well, this one has two radicals, so I could isolate either one. Since this radical here is already isolated, I'm going to go ahead and just start from there. So then the second step is to raise to the power of the radical. So this radical is the index is 2, so we raise both sides to the power of 2. So this is easy because it just crosses that out and I get x minus 12. Now 2 minus square root of x is not 2 squared and negative square root of x squared. You have to do 2 minus square root of x times 2 minus square root of x, which is why we learned this operation earlier. So 2 times 2, because we want to distribute the 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times negative square root of x is negative 2 square root of x. And then I'm going to take this negative square root of 2x and multiply it to both. So I get negative 2 square root of x, and negative square root of x times negative square root of x is a positive x, or positive square root of x squared, which x square root of x squared is x. And I can put these two together, so I get 4 minus 4 square root of x plus x. And then I'm going to start that whole process again of getting that radical by itself. So I'm going to try to get this radical here by itself. So I'm going to move everything over this way. So I'll subtract the 4 from the 12. And I get x minus 16 equals a negative 4 square root of x plus x. Subtract the x. And I get negative 16 equals a negative 4 square root of x, and then divide by negative 4. So I get 4 equals square root of x, and then now I'm back. I've got that radical to its by itself, so I'm going to raise to the power of the index, which is 2, both sides, so 16 equals x. Now these ones are going to be really important to check, because they might not work when I plug them back in. So I want to check to see if 16 minus 12, square root of that, does that equal 2 minus the square root of 16? So 16 minus 12 is 4 minus 2, and I'm checking to see if that equals 2 minus 4. So because square root of 16 is 4. So does 2 equal 2 minus 4, negative 2? And that doesn't work, so then there is no real solution. So these ones are going to be really important to check back in, because this isn't true, so that isn't a real solution. So we want to always check those, and then also we will see, so try this next problem here, see what you get, doing the same type of method, square first and then solve out and then check, because you could have a no real solution. I'm not saying that one is, but let's check it. So if I square both sides, I get x plus 5 equals, I'd pause the video again and I would try this, and so negative 1 minus square root of x squared is again negative 1 minus square root of x times negative 1 minus square root of x. So negative 1 times negative 1 is 1, negative 1 times negative square root of x is positive square root of x. Negative square root of x times negative 1 is positive square root of x, and square root of x times square root of x is a positive x. So I get 1 plus 2 square roots of x plus x. I'm going to bring everything over, kind of working this quick, but hopefully you paused the video and checked this out and tried it first, and then I'm looking at the solution. So 4 equals 2 square root of x, and then divide by 2. So I get 2 equals square root of x, and then square both sides. So x equals 4. And then I want to check it. 4 plus 5 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. And see if that equals a negative 1 minus the square root of 4 which is 2, so negative 3, and this one again is going to be no real solution. But it doesn't mean every single one is going to do that. All right, last type of problems that we're going to see today, and these are what mostly is Delta Math. In fact, this was taken straight from Delta Math. So I again have radical by itself, so step 2, once radical is by itself, is to raise to the power of my index. Now these ones I want to make sure I raise this whole thing just like I saw there. So what that does is gives me 49 minus 6x equals x minus 9 times x minus 9. Hopefully we're past the stage of just trying to square both of those. So we're going to multiply everything by x. So that gives me x times x is x squared. X times negative 9 is negative 9x. Negative 9 times x, both of those, is negative 9x. Negative 9 times 9. Negative 9 is a positive 81. So we are looking at, hopefully, we can see a quadratic equation. Good thing that we went through those. So we are going to bring everything, I'm going to bring everything to the right so this x squared stays positive. So I'm going to add 6x and subtract 49. Just moving it all at once. So I get 0 equals x squared minus 12x plus, I can't think, I'm sorry, 32. So now I'm going to solve this out, try factoring it. They should all be factorable. So multiplies to be 32, adds to be negative 12, is negative 8 and negative 4. So I get, factor that to x minus 8. Because this is 1, I can just use these two numbers, x minus 4. Hopefully that again isn't review. If you don't remember factoring, go back and watch that video. And so when I put these both equal to zeros, I get 8 and 4. And so I want to check to make sure both those work, because I'm guessing one of these isn't going to work. So I'm going to check them each. So 49, they could both work, minus 6 times 8. Does the square root of that equal 8 minus 9? So 49 minus 48 is 1. Does that equal negative 1? And that doesn't work, so that one's not gonna work. And then I'm gonna check 4 to see if that works too. So 49 minus 6 times 4, does that equal 4 minus 9? 49 minus 24 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. Does 5 equal negative 5? And no. So these both won't work. So this would be a no real solution. And to put that in, you would just put nothing into the Delta Math. All right, let's check one more. And because we've gotten a lot of no real solutions, so let's get one that will be not a no real solution. So possibly. So I'm going to square both sides again. So I get 3x plus 43. And I would pause the video again and I would try this because that's how you learn best. And then I'm going to do x plus 1 times x plus 1. So I get 3x plus 43 equals x times x is x squared. 1 times x is 1x. X times 1 is 1x. 1 times 1 is 1. So I get 3x plus 43 equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. Again, bring everything over to the right because I want to keep this x squared as 1 and not negative 1. So I get x squared minus x minus 42. So multiplies to be negative 42, adds to be negative 1, which would be negative 7 and 6. So my answers are going to be those are my factors, x minus 7 and x plus 6, and my two possible solutions are going to be 7 and negative 6, because that's what I get when I put those equal to 0. So I'm going to check those, and I'm hoping you can kind of see we can't have a negative over here, so which one's going to do that, but I'm going to check them. 7 times 3 plus 43, which is 21 plus 43. Does that equal 7 plus 1? So does the square root of 64 equal 8? And that one does. So 7 works. And I try negative 6. Does the square root of 3 times negative 6 plus 43 equal negative 6 plus 1? So negative 18 plus 43 equal the square root of that equal negative 5, and a square root can't ever equal a negative, so we can kind of be done with that one, and we would just have the answer of 7. So 6 is an extraneous solution. All right, if you have questions, let me know.